What's up, everybody? I've been wanting to do a E equals MC squared era video, like review, recap, what should have been moment for a while now. And now with Justice for E equals MC squared coming out, the album being #1 on iTunes, it's the perfect timing. Now, I remember I saw some tweets that were like, why Justice for E equals MC squared had a #1 song, so we don't need Justice for it. First of all, obviously they were just saying Justice for E equals MC squared because it went to, it was $4.99, it was climbing up the charts. It was the anniversary. I don't think people were really saying, like, oh my god, it didn't get what it deserved. But honestly, at the end of the day, it didn't get what it deserved. Not, like, it did good and it had its #1 song, girl, but this album was supposed to be a mega hit, mega blockbuster album of the year. Everybody was so anticipating it. Music industry, fans, general public, honestly, people were so ready for it. Even the title is literally Emancipation Mariah Carey Squared, which really makes no sense. But the point is, what she was saying was it's supposed to be like the Emancipation album moment, but we're squaring it, girl. We're really getting into the situation. So, like, we really want this to be huge. And you could clearly tell because the album is just, like, total ear candy. Like, every fucking song could be a single. This was supposed to be a blockbuster moment. And instead we got one #1, which is great, but then the album completely fizzled out. Now, let's just take a walk down memory lane. Now, I remember Touch My Body came out, first single. I thought it was a perfect first single. It was so fun. It was so catchy. It was so light. It was funny. The music video was epic. Like, she looked hot as hell. It was just very light. It was like story time. Like, it was just fun. Like, it was just fantasy. It was cute. And everyone had a good time with that song. It got #1. I'm pretty sure it broke some record of maybe like most digital sales or some shit like that. All I know is hype was huge. Touch My Body, great first choice. #1, and then on pop radio went like #7. I remember the girls were like, oh my god, it underperformed. Like, we wanted a #1 on pop. Because you gotta remember, with Emancipation, you had We Belong Together, Shake It Off, Don't Forget About Us. They all were #1 on pop radio or like #2 for like weeks on weeks on weeks on weeks. So it was like, I don't know what the girls were expecting, but the point is it was #1, top 10 on pop radio, perfect introduction to the album. So I would do nothing to change that. Perfect. Now we roll on down to Miss Bye Bye, which was literally the stupidest fucking choice for a single I've ever seen in my life. I don't give a shit what nobody has to say. If you were around for the time, I feel like the younger fans, or not even younger, people like just people who weren't following music at the time and now are like Twitter stans or whatever, they saw my E equals MC squared review and they were like, why? Bye Bye was a great second choice. Like, that's a classic, blah, blah, blah. Maybe because you grew up and like you heard it on the radio here and there and like you loved it and like your nostalgia is getting in the way, girl. Maybe that's the problem, but anyone who was around would know that that was the stupidest fucking choice. So first of all, the only reason they even chose that song for second single is because I remember first of all, L.A. Reid really wanted it for second single. And his single choices, girl, once 2008 hit, him with his singles, he ruined Discipline Era by Janet, he ruined E equals MC squared by Mariah. Like, Miss L.A. Reid was losing his touch, picking wrong choices for singles left and fucking right. I don't even know what he was talking about. But he wanted it, in my opinion, because all the music critics that were hearing the album, like all those listening parties, they used to have listening parties all the time for like record labels and industry people. So I remember it was like February 2008 and they were doing all these parties and all the critics were coming out talking about Bye Bye is the #1 smash, like Bye Bye is that song, like that's gonna be the one, they need to release this, like oh my god, we love Bye Bye, like blah 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 blah, like really hyping Bye Bye. They were like Bye Bye is the second coming of We Belong Together, like all this shit, really getting into Bye Bye. And I think Bye Bye is really super cute, super fun, but when you listen to the album for the first time, that is not a standout. I'm so sorry to break it to you, and it's definitely not a standout for a single. So, whatever. L.A. Reid was like, oh my god, the girls are loving it. These old, middle-aged white men at our listening parties, because those are the only people that were invited to the listening parties. All these middle-aged white men, they love Bye Bye for whatever reason. So, they went with that. And let's just say that completely killed the era. Just, Bye Bye was very prophetic. Prophetic. I don't know how to pronounce that. It was very much a prophecy. And, a self-fulfilling prophecy. She said bye-bye to this era because, girl, and you never got a chance to see how good I could have done because it just completely derailed the whole era. So, once that song came out, I remember I first heard it, I said, bitch, this is cute, but this just ain't really what the fuck we're looking for. Especially when I felt like the second single was supposed to be massive. Like, and this was just not cutting the bill. So then she released a music video, which I believe, I don't even remember, because honestly, girl, at this point, first of all, she was lip syncing all the performances that were like the promo performances for that song. She was either lip syncing it or not sounding good or something along those lines. All I know is the performances for those songs wasn't what I needed or what anybody needed. And then the music video was shit. I feel like Nick Cannon directed it, or did he direct another one? I don't know. All I know is the music video sucked ass. Didn't make no sense. She's standing there with a crop top on talking about her dead like, what the fuck is this? Nothing is making sense. So that was just, girl, and then she started dating Nick Cannon, which was cute. It was a cute moment, but all the promotion, all the interviews started to gear towards more so the engagement to Nick Cannon, her frolicking in the waters with Nick Cannon. I'm glad she was having a good time, because first of all, she was looking beautiful. I mean, she was glowing. She was glowing. She was frolicking. She was having such a good time. We were so happy for her. I think some people were not so happy that it was with Miss Nick Cannon, because, I don't know, well, we all saw what happened with that, so I guess they were right. But, you know, it's just too much was going on. I mean, whatever. Let's just, okay, point is, this is supposed to be a what should have happened. So let's cut out Bye Bye out of the situation. That should not have happened whatsoever. Second single should have been Migrate with T-Pain. Like, hands down, it's so fucking obvious. It was the one song, it was, like, the most digitally downloaded from the album. No one was buying Bye Bye, girl. You were promoting it left, right, up, and down. You know, before The Hills, they were promoting, like, all this shit. And nobody was buying it, because nobody wanted it, because no one liked it. So Bye Bye was just not doing it, but everyone was still buying Migrate. She promoted, she sang it like once or twice on TV, and the digital downloads were truly increasing. So, and it was probably the most bought song off the album besides Touch My Body at the time. So it just made sense. Plus you had T-Pain, he was at the peak of his whole, you know, it was the peak of the T-Pain moment. Or, you know, the beginning of the peak, whatever the situation was. So it was really the time for Migrate. It was the most club hopping. You wanted to hear the song. I remember, I was in 6th grade when this album came out. And I remember all the local straight girls and the straight boys, girl, they had it on their MySpace songs. Like, you know, when you went on MySpace and they had a song playing? I remember I would click on some of my friends, and they were not following music, especially in 6th grade, girl. In 2008, it was very hard to, like, find music. It's not like now where you just stream it, you know what I mean? So, and I saw people had Migrate all over their MySpace pages. I was like, bitch, how did they even know about this song? Like, what the fuck? Like, that's when I really knew this has to be a second single. And it just didn't happen. So, that was the biggest problem. So, I think if Migrate had came out as a second single, that would have been a huge fucking smash. Hot music video. Her body was banging. She was looking gorgeous. She was giving very much diva the whole era. Very bright, neon, just like the song. Very fun, festive, and, you know, confident, sassy for the spring, for the summer. Something fun for the summertime. And it would have been I think it would have been a number one. I genuinely believe. And if it wasn't going to be number one, it would have been like top 5 on radio and on the Hot 100. So let's roll on by to what should have been the third single and was the third single, I'll Be Loving You Long Time. First of all, that song is so fun to me. It's very reminiscent of like her fun, like Fantasy, Heartbreaker, those type of very just melodically upbeat, very fun, you know, flowery fields, summertime fling, run along in the beach. And first of all, that music video is so hot. She looks so good. It's very different for her too. Like, it's just everything about that song, just the energy of it, it's very timeless. It feels like a timeless feel, like very like 80s, 90s, like disco moment almost. It's not disco-y, but it just like has that feel to it. So like, you know, around the roller skating rink, very much that. So it was a perfect third single choice, perfect music video. But in the real era, after Bye Bye Girl, Too Little Too Late. That's first of all. And especially back then, back in the day, girl, once you like left that momentum, it doesn't matter what you release after. The radios weren't going to play it because they were like, oh, we already heard the last single from this album and we're over it. You know what I mean? It's not like nowadays where you can really fix up an era just by like, oh, it's a buzz single, here's a new one, put it on Spotify. You know, like, you really couldn't do that. Once you fucked up, you kind of fucked up. So that, you know, is why, in my opinion, I'll Be Loving You Long Time did not do as well as it should have. And also, it came out months after Bye Bye. Like, girl, it's been deflated. This era's been done, and now you're coming out in July when the last thing didn't do anything up until like May or like April, you know what I mean? So main point is Touch My Body, Migrate, which would have led the way to a perfect I'll Be Loving You Long Time. So there we go. The first 3 songs, they all would have been fucking smashes. Now let's roll along to what should have been the 4th single right after I'll Be Loving You Long Time for the fall. For the fall time, we should have gotten Side Effects with Young Jeezy. First of all, Young Jeezy at the time was a really big rapper, really, you know, one of the girls that everybody was following at the time. All the straight boys loved him. That song is very hip-hop. First of all, her flow, like, everything about that song is very rhythmic, and it was very of the time. The production was awesome, and the lyrical content, girl, she's giving you, wow. She's giving you, it's something that's very relatable. It's written really nicely. It was extremely catchy, and I just feel like everyone, that along with Migrate were the 2 songs that everyone, when they listened to the album, they said, these are the hits. These are the motherfucking hits. And Side Effects, it was just, not only was it emotional and relatable to people who, you know, you've been in bad relationships, girl. Everyone could relate to that. And she wrote it in such a good way, like, what the fuck are those lyrics? Burning inside the hell chandelier, some shit like that. All I know is that song was a fucking classic and bona fide hit, should have been a smash, and instead we didn't get that. But I think if that was the 4th single after I'll Be Loving You Long Time, it would have been a huge smash. I still, to this day, cannot believe that neither Migrate nor Side Effects were released at all. Like, you really would have thought that they would have released one of them, because they were literally the most bought songs, the most talked about, and the most praised. And they were the most of the moment. Like, they were very just, they had those, it was very urban, but like, kind of like, got, like, Migrate had that electro feel a little bit. It was just literally, I just don't understand what happened there. What was happening in those meetings, girl? How did you guys sit down and not think that these 2 were clear single choices? The fuck? Whatever. So Side Effects would have been, honestly, another top 5. Like, that would have been perfect. And I think the 5th and final single, even though you really could have done, like, 8 singles off this album, but Miss Mariah wasn't, especially back then, girl, people were doing re-releases, like, Good Girl Gone Bad, where Rihanna had, like, 8 singles, Sasha Fierce had, like, 12 singles, you know, people were really doing that. So you really could have done it, but I feel like Mariah at the time wasn't really feeling it, so I would have done the 5th single, 5th and final, I Stay in Love, which they did also release, but like I said, girl, at that point, it just was too little too late. So, but I think if it had came after Side Effects, I'll Be Loving You Long Time, Migrate, and Touch My Body, it would have been a huge hit. This was the song that if you wanted to do a second single that was like We Belong Together, and you guys wanted to repeat that formula, and because I feel like they try to do that with Bye Bye, like a second single, slow, but, you know, get into people's feelings. You know, Do I Stay in Love? I Stay in Love is literally just, as a song, has the same formula as We Belong Together. Like, it literally almost is the same song. The same way it builds up, the same climax type of situation is very reminiscent of We Belong Together. And I Stay in Love is another one that I saw all over the MySpace pages. I actually just showed one of my friends this song at work. The other month, I was like, listen to the I Stay in Love. And she heard it. She was like, I feel like I know this song because she probably heard it when she was younger. And now she listens to it all the time, because I Stay in Love is one of those songs that is, again, super relatable, super catchy, very ear candy, very poppy, just like perfect melodies, very catchy, and still gives you that emotion, that emotional feel, just like We Belong Together. I feel like it would have been the perfect closing out to the album and to the era, and it would have been a big hit. Yet again, it would have been 5 top 10s, honestly. Even top 5s, honestly. And when she was promoting these songs, girl, during this era, so those are my 5 singles in that order, and I really genuinely think this would have been a smash fucking huge ass album. It sold a good amount. The first week was massive, but that, like, it had so much potential. I hate when there's so much potential and it's just not even close to what could have happened. So, girl, yeah. So when she was promoting it, girl, it was too many slip ups. She wasn't really singing the way she needed to be singing. She was lip syncing left and right. She's talking about, stop singing my part now, baby. Girl, you know that backing track went off too early, and she's trying to save herself, but don't throw your backup singer under the fire like that. Backup singer was sitting there like, cause she knew what the fuck happened. She said, "Don't blame me, bitch. I will walk off the stage right now. How dare you, Mariah?" But it is a classic moment. It's iconic. When that first happened, I fucking died. I was like setting the blogs on fire. It was so fucking funny. But besides that, most of her promotional performances for MC2 were just not really cutting it. I remember she did I Stay in Love on the American Music Awards. I don't know if she sang that live or she lip synced that one. I feel like she lip synced that one. I could be wrong. But not that honestly, I don't even really give that much of a fuck about that. But what I do remember is her staring into the goddamn monitor, fixing her hair the entire performance. So like everything about like it was just too much, girl. But I loved her whole energy and vibe during that era. She was just so clearly happy. She was so clearly confident. She was looking gorgeous, feeling gorgeous, and she was just giving off a glow, which I totally loved. For her, I just wish it also rolled into her career aspect, because that album was shooting to be fucking massive. And it wasn't. It was big, but it did not reach its potential at all. So you all let me know what you guys think of that era back in the day, what you guys thought about it. And also the photo shoots were so stunning. I fucking loved it. They were just so diva. They were so sexy. Like when the Touch My Body single cover came out, I fucking orgasmed. Like that big ass hat covering her naked body, girl. I said yes. Oh my god. And I remember we had to do in 6th grade, we were doing like a some like Asian Greek god thing, and then we had to like remix songs that were out right now to and write them about the Greek gods or the Egyptian gods or whatever the situation was. And I remember our song fucking snapped, and we performed it for everybody. We were doing a dance, we were singing it, we were performing it, we were backflip shit. We would perform it every second. Like we did it once, and then at the end of the our performance day, and when everyone did their performance, everyone was like, "Oh my god, can you guys do yours again?" We said we sure can. Someone play the boombox now. I forgot what the original song was, but we fucking remixed the shit out of it. But the point was, I remember one of the groups remixed Touch My Body, and it was a little suggestive, I won't lie to you, and I just remember, I don't know why that like struck me as a really funny memory, but it's because we were like 11, and I remember some of the kids were like, "Oh my god, like she's remixing Touch My Body, that's so inappropriate, like why is she singing this song, that's supposed to be on our iPods, we can't bring that to class like that." Like all the girls were shook. She was ahead of her time. I'm not gonna give her name because her name is very, I don't want the locals to watch it and be like, "Oh, I remember her." But she fucking snapped. I would have joined her song. Her song was real good. She did a good remix of Miss Touch My Body. Would she make it like Hercules Touch My Body? Who the fuck knows what she did? But it was so classic. So, yeah, that was, what an era. What a time. Y'all let me know your memories of that album, that era. What would you guys have done as the singles? Do you agree with my single choices? Do you not agree? What would you have made it? Do you agree that this album should have been huge and unfortunately potential was not met? Give me your memories of like your favorite performances, videos. I will say though, let's say her music videos for this album, besides Bye Bye, which sucked ass, were ace. I fucking loved them. They were like movies. They were very different for her. They were just like, they were entertaining. They were really fun. That was like the first album, in my opinion, where her budget for her music videos were like big, and she was being super creative. So that was awesome. Yeah, let me know what you guys thought, and thanks for watching.